very rewarding when you can do something for the kids, and mostly when they're involved in your family. This little guy was here last year, and I promised him if any chance we get a medal, we bring him out again.
We start with our frenzy favorite. It's Linville Hill Christian boys basketball coach Mike Schatzman and his grandson Hunter. Hunter puts the gold medal around his grandfather's neck, and it goes right back to Hunter. A sweet moment after the Warriors' district championship victory. More championship moments from 3 busy days at Giants Center are coming up. Welcome into the frenzy. I'm Todd Sadowski. What a wild week in Chocolatetown with 12 district basketball finals in the hardwood and the CPIHL championship night.
Yeah, tons of celebration for the best teams and athletes in the area. The best time of year is coming soon for the Hershey Bears, so why don't we start with the best team in the American Hockey League?
Will do. The calendar flips to March, and the power switch for the offense, well, it falters. 2 games this weekend, 0 goals, and it still results in 1 team point for the Bears. With that said, we're going to show you a video of a couple of big fights in front of the home crowd on Saturday night, including Tyson Empey, who drops the gloves after the opening faceoff against Utica. Then it's Dmitry Osipov, who lays a huge check. The Comets jump on him afterwards, so he's forced to drop him and start firing away with some right hands. The Bears lose 1-0 Saturday. Then after a scoreless regulation and overtime, they drop a shootout to Lehigh Valley in Allentown earlier today. No need to worry. The Bears are still far and away the #1 team in the league standings. In the division, they have a 13-point lead over Providence with 17 games to go. In the Eastern Conference, 16 points in front of North Division leader Cleveland. And in the West, Milwaukee has cooled off with a 3-game losing streak. So Hershey is 13 points up on the Admirals and Coachella Valley.
The annual NFL Scouting Combine means draft season is in full swing. A record number of Penn State players travel to Indy to show off in front of scouts and talent evaluators as they look to make a key impression during the process. The D-line and linebackers kick things off for Penn State. Lots of eyes on potential first-rounder Chop Robinson. He blazes in the 40 with the fastest time for the defensive line group and then shows his burst on the field with on-field drills as well. It was also a nice showing for linebacker Curtis Jacobs as well. Shows off his agility in the wave drill and finishes with the soft hands in that drill. Jacobs solid all day long. Maybe the biggest day comes from defensive back Daquan Hardy. He burns up the track with a 4.38 40, then shows off the smooth transition in the on-field drills, and not to mention his 42-inch vertical on the offensive side. Tight end Theo Johnson is his usual solid self, catching everything thrown his way. And finally, it was a short day for projected top tackle Olu Fashanu. Runs the 40 in 5.1 seconds, then calls it a day after he tweaks a thigh injury. Nothing serious. More to come from him during the pro day. All in all, a good outing from the PSU posse to show they can hang with the best in Indy.
Efficient, dramatic, flat-out fun. One by one, 12 District 3 basketball championship games play out on the hard court at Giants Center, 4 each day. And I had the pleasure of being there every day from afternoon until late in the evening. Here's a recap of some of the most memorable moments from the district finals. Of course, there is the thrill of victory.
We just executed perfectly. Coach Gaffey, all of our coaches game planned perfectly, and it was just such a great time out there. It was so much fun.
Tell us what that feels like to be holding that thing. You've been holding that thing for a while, huh?
It's getting kind of heavy, actually, but it's really great to be holding this right now.
And then the agony of defeat. Both teams roll up their sleeves and go to work. When one side wins, the other has to lose.
It's the best feeling for a head coach to have to put a gold medal on a kid's neck at the Giants Center. I told the kids probably the worst feeling is putting a silver medal on the kids' necks at the Giants Center. So we kept to our mantra of take what you want, and I think those last 8 minutes showed that we wanted it a little bit more.
Big school or small, all student sections are loud.
Our student section is great. They've been great all year. They show up to home and away games, and they're so loud. And I do think that it does change the outcome of the game sometimes.
And eager. While the Wildcats of Mechanicsburg finish off their district title win, the Wildcats of Dallastown line up, ready to take their seats. Big arena, bold shoes, and all kinds of cheers. 3 days, 12 championships, countless memories for everyone involved.
Nothing better than the district playoffs. While the high school playoffs brings teams together from across the state, one Lancaster County squad has a roster with some international appeal. As Fox 43's Alex Cawley shows us, one player hopes to help her team as much as she can before returning home.
It's not easy to make it to a district championship game. And while there is strength in numbers, numbers were not always a strength for Lancaster Country Day.
Our goal was to get here. That was one goal for the girls that they had, because they didn't make it here. They fell short last year.
A year ago, the Cougars were the top seed in the district tournament, but injuries and illnesses forced a forfeit in the semifinals.
Especially the girls returning from last year. They were hungry.
More numbers helped this season, including one from slightly outside of Lancaster County.
I'm from Germany, and I'm currently on an exchange year here.
Carolina Lang is a junior who plays a lot of minutes for the Cougars.
We loved having her around. She was one of the hardest workers. I hate to see her leave. I wish I could have her another year.
While basketball is nothing new to her, it was a sport that she never played before that helped her make fast friends.
Field hockey practice started before school started, so I already knew people, and people are just really open and really nice to come up to you and ask you your name and where you're from, and it's just really nice.
And for her first and only season, Lang was not about to back down from a challenge.
I was kind of pushed into the goalie position, and it worked out. It was really fun.
Really fun because Lang was really good. She was first team all-section, helping the Cougars to a section title. Before she returns home in June, she hopes to help Lancaster Country Day well into March in the state basketball tournament.
It feels really great to know that our team can pull together.
I think she had a great experience. Hopefully she learned a couple things this year that she can, take back to her country.
Alex Cawley, Fox 43.
Well, it was a wild Wednesday for high school sports. In addition to the quadruple header for the District 3 basketball championships at Giant Center, a crossing parking lot at Hershey Park Arena was the CPIHL championship night doubleheader. And the first matchup is for the Viola Cup. Penn Manor and White tied at 1 with Elizabethtown. That is until Jonathan Boozer goes end to end as fast as a comet. The gorgeous fake at the end to slide it into the net for what proves to be the game winner. Penn Manor adds one more, and they lift up the cup with the 3-1 victory. Now, the nightcap is a toga party for the Hershey student section up against their neighbors and rivals Lower Dauphin. These are the final seconds coming up with the Trojans trying to hang on to a 6-4 margin. Nothing else is going to get in the net. Time runs out and the celebration begins. Gloves, sticks, helmets everywhere. Hershey captures the Bears Cup title. A great night of hockey in the old barn. The CPIHL now 30 years in existence and appreciative of the support.
It's a pretty wide area that we cover. There's over 50 teams that cover that whole area, and they play through the whole season. So you have just those same rivalries you have in the PIAA. You have the same thing here. The traditionals like Hershey, Lower Dauphin. Tonight you have Elizabethtown and Penn Manor. They're just fantastic rivalries.
And Hershey earns the bragging rights with the Bears Cup. They hoist it over their heads and then skated around the rink, all part of an unforgettable championship week. Well, one of the biggest women's golf tournaments in the world begins in Lancaster County in a mere 3 months. The USGA will be spending a lot of time at Lancaster Country Club from now until tournament week in late May. I caught up with them earlier this week to discuss the differences between the upcoming U.S. Women's Open and the one hosted at LCC in 2015. It's going to be a tough act to follow. The U.S. Women's Open 9 years ago still holds the record for attendance. Over 135,000 fans were on the grounds at LCC.
I've been doing this for about 10 years, and I don't think I've ever been in a community that really supports and embraces the Women's Open quite like this one.
The operative word is community. It takes everyone to pull off a week-long party like this one, and with only 3 months to go, the USGA is about to start their build.
We come in and we really build a little city here, whether it be from a food and beverage perspective, hospitality, tents. So all that starts here in the next few weeks.
There are some changes to the course. Less trees, which makes for a better spectator experience. You'll be able to see multiple holes during the tournament to watch more action. The USGA has secured an influx of prize money. The purse has tripled from $4 million the first visit to a record $12 million in 2024. The build-up to the event is now next level, and they're riding that wave to prepare another world-class sports experience.
I think it's pretty clear to everyone paying attention that women's sports is having a moment. There's more eyes on women's golf. There's more sponsorship money behind women's sports, and it feels bigger from when we were here in 2015 when it maybe felt like a huge local event. It's truly become an event that sort of resonates on a national and international stage, and obviously Lancaster as a community is going to reap the benefits being in that sort of spotlight.
This is going to be the biggest show in town, and we want to make sure that we prepare for it and we're ready to open the gates to everyone.
Wouldn't be surprised if a new attendance record is set this year. Coming up in our sit-down, the NFL draft season is here in the blink of an eye. We talked to ESPN draft expert Jordan Reed to get his take on some of Penn State's prospects at the draft combine and their futures in the NFL. Spoiler alert, he really likes tight end Theo Johnson. E. Brooks with Jay Reed next on The Frenzy.
Welcome back. The NFL world is knee-deep in the NFL draft process, and Penn State brought a record 10 players to the NFL Scouting Combine. In this week's Sunday Sit-Down, we talk with ESPN NFL draft expert Jordan Reed as he breaks down Penn State's prospects and what teams will be getting in April. It is a pleasure to be joined by ESPN draft analyst Jordan Reed. Jordan, exciting times ahead with the NFL Scouting Combine and the NFL Draft in full swing. Talking about some of the Penn State guys, the Nittany Lions bringing 10 guys to the NFL Scouting Combine. Just talk to me a little bit about what the NFL covered so much in Penn State players.
Well, it just feels like every year that Penn State has some type of explosive athlete. In years past, where there's Michael Parsons, there's plenty of other players. Saquon Barkley is another that comes to mind that was just a ridiculously high tester. And just listening to a guy we'll talk about here soon, I'm sure, and Chop Robinson, just hear and see his voice and how excited he was to really test. And I think there's just so much excitement about all of these guys.
Obviously, we know about Chop Robinson and what he brings, but who are you just most looking forward to this week from Penn State to see what they can do?
Well, there's quite a bit. Adisa Isaac is another that I'm really, really excited about. I think he's going to be a big-time tester. Curtis Jacobs is another that I'm really excited to, and there's plenty more. I think Kalen King is going to be a really big tester too. So they're loaded on the defensive side of the ball, and then there's some other players to be excited about as well, but those 3 or 4 who I'm really excited to see test.
NFL fits are a big topic. Just talk to me a little bit about where you see some of the fits for these Penn State guys for teams like the Eagles, Steelers, and Ravens.
Well, I think Chop, he's probably going to go somewhere in the mid to late 20s or early 30s. I think that's a comfortable range of where he could end up going. So somebody like, I think the Eagles will be a great fit for him, or even the Ravens will be a good fit for him. I think the Steelers need some more help or some more depth off of the edge. So Adisa Isaac could be an option for them, but also Kalen King. They need somebody opposite of Joey Porter Jr., who they hit a home run on, another Penn State guy in last year's draft. So Kalen King could be a good option for the Steelers, probably somewhere along the 3rd round. I think that's a good spot of where Kalen could go right now.
Of course, every year there are risers and fallers. Talk to me about which Penn State player you think might have the most to gain from Combine Week.
Well, Johnny Dixon. I think Johnny Dixon could be a definite option as far as somebody that's going to be a high-end tester. I expect him to probably run in somewhere in the 4.3s or the 4.4s. That would not surprise me at all. And then we know he definitely has good ball skills. He's been able to show that and demonstrate that throughout his career with the Nittany Lions. So I think Johnny Dixon is going to be a big-time tester, but also Curtis Jacobs. I'm excited to see him move around. I had an opportunity to see him down in Frisco, Texas at the Shrine Bowl, and I thought he had a really productive week.
Tight ends have been a big deal for Penn State in the past few years. They have another one this year in Theo Johnson. Just talk to me about what he's done this year and what you think he could look like in the NFL.
So I'm the conductor of the Theo Johnson train. I'm a big fan of Theo. So he's actually my 3rd-ranked tight end behind Brock Bowers and Jatavian Sanders of Texas. So the thing that I love about Theo, is just he's just this big, raw athlete that's really just getting by off natural ability. But just imagine once he starts to get NFL coaching and you start to push the ball to him a little bit more. So he had 7 receiving touchdowns in the final 8 games of Penn State's season last year. He had a big game in the bowl game against Ole Miss, I believe it was, to where he had a lot of production early on in that game. Ended up not playing in the second half, but you just saw some of the natural God-given talent and traits that he has. And we saw it at the Senior Bowl too. So he's just this big, raw, moldable piece of clay that I think a team is going to get a steal probably somewhere in the 3rd round with.
Yeah, huge thank you to Jordan for taking time out of his busy schedule to talk ball. The NFL Draft is a little over a month away. If you want to see or share any of our Sunday sit-down interviews or Frenzy stories, simply go to our website, fox43.com/frenzy. Coming up in our Frenzy 5, she spent her college days crushing the ball over the fence. Which team in Europe offers a Shippensburg Slugger the chance to play professional softball? That and more is next when the Frenzy returns. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Frenzy. Ty, it's officially award season, a little bit of everything in our Frenzy Fives, and we got some local players and teams that continue to stand out.
As always, Caitlin Clark continues to be a scoring machine. A Shippensburg home run hitters heading overseas. Let's get the countdown going with a Shady sighting in Harrisburg. Let's start with LaShawn Shady McCoy back in his hometown of H-Burg. McCoy, main developer on a project to bring affordable housing to the capital city. The former Bishop McDevitt Pitt and NFL running back is there as they break ground on the JMB Gardens housing project on North 6th Street. It will have 41 units for households with incomes between 20 and 60% of the average median income for the area. Great to see LaShawn continue to help his hometown community.
Yeah, awesome from Shady there. Hard work pays off, and it's been quite the year for former Eastern York star Brianna Graham. After a year off the court, she's now earned the MAC Conference Rookie of the Year award this season for York College, making her the 5th ever to do so at the school. She was also awarded all-league honors as well. Safe to say, she missed a game and now is back better than ever. Congrats on an awesome comeback.
What a week for college basketball sensation Caitlin Clark. The Iowa Star announces on Thursday she's heading to the WNBA, almost guaranteed to be the #1 overall pick by the Indiana Fever. Today she passes Pistol Pete Maravich as the NCAA's Division I all-time leading scorer, breaks the mark with a technical free throw, goes past 3,667 points for her career, ends up with 35 in the 6th-ranked Hawkeyes victory.
She is amazing. Coach Casey Stitzel and his Millerville Marauders are on some kind of roll. The team earned their first national ranking for the first time in 17 years. They come in at number 20, and big thanks to ranked wins over Gannon and East Stroudsburg this year. Big time accomplishment for the black and gold to put MU back on the national map as a force to watch out for with the D2 tournament coming up very soon.
Shippensburg grad Hannah Marstell are going to step into the batter's box overseas to play professional softball in Italy. She says it's been a dream of hers to be a pro, signed a contract with Collecchio, and one of 9 teams that competes in Serie A1 in Italy. She leaves this upcoming week to begin preparations. First game scheduled for March 30th. She was a 2-time Division II Player of the Year, earned 3-time PSAC Athlete of the Year honors. Best of luck to Hannah.
That is awesome for her. Anytime you can play professional sports, that is a win in my book.
Collecchio. I think I said it correct. Who knows? Congrats to that. Going to Italy. Another championship week ahead with the state wrestling individual championships for boys, and for the first time ever, the girls go for state gold. For the entire crew, thanks for watching The Frenzy. We'll see you next time.
Silo?
So what happened? You fell off the dugout. We'll get you fixed up.
Expert care when you need it most. Come to the pros for all your orthopedic needs. Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster, getting you back in the game. Visit us at our new location in Ephrata.